point in our debate. Each candidate is now offered the opportunity to ask one of their opponents a question. The opponent will have 2 minutes to answer. There will be no rebuttal time. And the rotation, I believe, comes around to Mr. Barber.
I think so. Well, my question is for you, Jesse.
I thought it might be.
Well, Charlie's answered all the questions, so I don't need to ask him. But I'm really interested in knowing your answer to this question. For the last 3 years, you have said that you want to privatize Medicare and Social Security. You said that they are Ponzi schemes. You said that they need to be eliminated, phased out, and that Medicare recipients are on the public dole. As recently as April 18th, your website had some of these same ideas. And then mysteriously, they disappeared. And now your website says you would never vote to privatize. I think you're trying to pull the wool over the eyes of the voters in this district, and I think they're a lot smarter than that. My question for you is, can you explain the change in your positions about Medicare and Social Security? Not clarify, as you suggested, but explain why you have changed your position and why you're trying to fool people with your new position.
Well, our position is this, and the reason the website was changed because, once again, the other campaign has chosen to lie to seniors in order to get elected. It's happened before, it's happened this time. There's no easier way to put it. Even the Arizona Republic came out with an article today saying Mr. Barber has been misleading in his ads. Because in those exact same clips, when we talk about privatization, when we talk about these other things, 2 sentences later, we talk about how important it is to protect the benefits that seniors have earned. The seniors that are currently on these programs, the government doesn't have a right to tell you anything else. And so you never see that. The commercial is designed for one thing, to scare the people currently on the system into believing a lie, and that's that I would ever touch it. I'm out to protect seniors, but I'm also out to give choices to future generations. You want to know what choices are? Choices are simply handing them an option one day and saying, what would you like? Would you like a government system, or would you like a personal account? People can choose. And in this country, we believe in choices in this nation. So the reason the website was changed is because, once again, there's an entire campaign based on lying to seniors, and we have to plan for that.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Barber has a challenge card. He has 1 left and he can use it.
I've got 2 left, but maybe not.
30 seconds.
Well, here's the deal. Jesse, I just think it would be really great if you just stood up, man up, and say, I changed my position. I think people would accept that. We all can change our position. But instead you're trying to fool people with double talk. And I think people are smarter than that. And I just wish you would answer the question that I asked you. Why have you changed your position and say you would never vote for privatization on your website and on television, when clearly you have said that repeatedly, and just tonight you said you would privatize it for future generations?
Time. Mr. Mann, I'd like to, do you have a question for one of your 2 opponents?
Yes, I have a question for both.
You only get 1.
Mr. Barber already asked a question after Mr. Kelly, so that's fine. But anyway, this is for Mr. Barber. I'm really surprised, Ron, that when we see your ad, it's related to your campaign, that you speak of saying that to the American people in regards to the Medicare benefits. More than a lifeline, you have earned these benefits, something to this nature. It sounds like you're putting the idea of working and earning benefits higher than the lifeline of Medicare, Social Security, or Medicaid. And I'm surprised that your campaign writers would put out something like that and give me a chance to come and put this out front.
Do you have a question?
Well, you know what?
Okay, so my question is, what happened that this went on?
I'm I'm sorry, I still don't understand the question.
Well, let's just put it this way. I'm surprised at the fact that you presented an idea that more than a lifeline, people earn their benefits. I think that, yeah, more than you, as you were saying, more than a lifeline, people earn these benefits. I want to know why you are putting out benefits and work above the lifeline of Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security.
Well, I'll try to answer the question that I don't fully understand.
You better use that tomorrow.
My position on Medicare and Medicaid for that matter. Medicare is a benefit that people have paid into all of their lives. It's actually an investment that every one of us working pays in. And that should be there to provide good health care for us when we retire. We have to make sure it's there. We don't need to look at voucher systems, as Mr. Kelly has suggested and supported. We could also privatize Medicare. Those are not the right answers. When people pay into these systems and invest in them, they should be there when they retire. Let me just say one word about Medicaid, Charlie. You've talked about it now in 2 debates. I think you know that for most of my career in developmental disabilities, I worked and managed a Medicaid program. I helped design the Arizona Medicaid program when it first came in. So I know about Medicaid and the importance of it. And if I haven't mentioned it up to now, doesn't mean it isn't important and I don't know about it. Medicaid is clearly an important benefit for people with disabilities, seniors, and those with mental health issues. And having managed the system for most of my career in developmental disabilities, I know how important it is. It is a very critical program, and it too must be preserved, along with Medicare and Social Security.
And Mr. Manalakis wants to play his last card. 30 seconds.
Okay, you said what you had to say just right here, but again, I'm emphasizing you never mentioned anything up until this point. We are now 3/4 of the way into this debate. This involves 70 million American people. You have never mentioned anything about it. You're having a conversion on Medicaid. Jesse had his conversion on Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. So I just want the American people to realize this here. And I've talked to people that formulated this plan in the beginning, and they said they don't know what your interaction was. But that's kind of irrelevant. My point is, you have ignored the existence of 70 million Americans.
Thank you. And finally, Mr. Kelly, it's your turn. You have a question for somebody?
My question is for Mr. Barber, and actually mine's a simple one, be very fast. Who are you supporting for president in November?
My vote is my vote, Mr. Kelly, as yours is too. I will not be talking about other elections. I'm focused on beating you on January and June 12th. That's it.
Mr. Kelly, you have 30 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can't vote president in Congress. The largest bill, most ominous bill this nation has ever seen, Obamacare, the man sitting to my right, Mr. Barber, will not take a position on it. A simple vote, you can flip a coin as to who you're voting for president, and Mr. Barber won't take a position on it. Whichever side you find, you have to take a position and fight for the people of Southern Arizona when you get there. I tell you, I'm voting for president, and I don't have to wishy-wash around the answer. I think the people of Southern Arizona at least deserve to know your position, whether they like it or not.
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. We have now reached the point where candidates will make 1-minute closing remarks. We are going to go in the reverse order of the opening remarks. That puts Mr. Barber closing his evening with 1 minute.
Well, thank you for convening this group tonight. I want to say that this election really boils down to 3 things: experience, policy, and trust. I believe I have the experience necessary to go to the floor of the House of Representatives on June 13th and represent the people of Southern Arizona. I believe I have the right policies to protect middle-class Americans, seniors, and veterans. And I believe I've earned the trust of this community in the 40 years I've served this community in public service. And Mr. Kelly, I'm really afraid of what the extreme policies that you would bring to play. Trust is earned, and when you flip-flop around and change your positions, that doesn't earn trust. My 32 years of developmental disabilities, my my 5.5 years for Congressman McGiffers, and before that, my work in the private sector, helping my wife run our business, that has earned us credibility and trust in this community, and that is what the voters need to look at. Experience, policies, and trust.
Thank you. Mr. Kelly.
I'll tell you what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of President Obama's job-killing policies. That's what I'm afraid of. Who's going to go back there and stand up against those policies? Who do you believe will stand up against policies of blocking a pipeline that would have created 20,000 American jobs and reduced the cost of fuel? We know who's going to go back there. I think this country's great. I think our best days are not behind us, they're ahead of us. I think that one day, 1,000 years from now, they'll write books on the greatest nation that ever was, and it's going to be the United States of America. And it's not by accident, it's because we're blessed by God. It's because we are a free people, an amazing people. We're still the most charitable, giving people in the world. And so when people ask me why I'm hopeful about the future, it's not the government, it's not a Washington that sent us into bankruptcy. I'm hopeful because of you. Because one day, again in November, in June, in November, and on and on and on, we will stand up and we will tell Washington, just leave us alone because we choose freedom.
Thank you. And please, we have one more candidate who gets the final word. It's Mr. Manalakas. 1 minute closing remarks.
Yes, I'd like for the American people, as they look at me attempting to represent you, voice of Congress, realize that I am party-less overall. I do not follow any particular party. And realize that I want to go into the Congress doing 4 different propositions. 1, I want to bring the troops home. 2, I want to have health care for all, comprehensive comprehensive health care for all. And 3, I want to be sure that all social contracts are written in simple, direct, clear language. So I'm going in with these policies to stand for you. And I hope that you will see that I will go in and know that I will go in not just as a lion, as my friend Teddy Kenny went in, but also as a bear and an eagle. And I would like to represent you tonight. So keep that in mind when you think of me. I believe I am a lead people candidate. And one outstanding thing I did fighting for you was to talk on airways to millions and millions and millions of people for health care reform. And I was told I was a voice in the wilderness. And that these 23 states are showing I am not a voice in the wilderness.
Thank you, Mr. Manalakas. And we've now reached the point where I've actually saved the last word for myself. My name is Joe Burchell. I am the government team editor at the Arizona Daily Star. My only regret tonight is we had so many more great reader questions that I wish that I could hear more from the candidates on, but we're out of time, so all there is left for me to do is thank the candidates for sharing their thoughts with us, thank the Tucson Jewish Community Center for hosting us, and to